Hello, beautiful people. It feels so good to be back here. Yesterday, I shared my story, my sexuality story, and if you're the kind of person that's exploring what healthy sexuality looks like, please don't hesitate to contact me on the contact form below. On the 4th of November, I am preparing with all my heart and soul and everything for a retreat, an online retreat that will take place on the 4th of November, and it'll be about 6 hours. There'll be all sorts of wonderful things that revive your soul, that take you back to your really natural sexuality, not the one that is affected by media, affected by influences outside of you. So that's what sexuality beyond sex will be about on the 4th of November. If you're interested, please contact me on the contact form, and I'll give you more details on that. So on to today's video. On today's video, I'm hoping to share with you my poetry. Even though what I'm sharing today is not poetry, I wrote these letters from, I think, 2018 until 2020. I used to write letters to feelings because I struggled a lot with feelings. So this one is a letter I wrote to a feeling, and I struggled a lot with feelings because there wasn't anything that I was able to feel and be okay with it. I didn't want to feel sadness, I didn't want to feel grief, I didn't want to feel happiness, I didn't want to feel joy, I didn't want to feel love. I just wanted to feel nothing. It was all so scary for me. So I started this practice that I would also encourage you, my clients, everybody else that I meet to do it, is to write to the feeling and express yourself. What is it that is bothering you about that feeling? So on today's letter, and it was so helpful, by the way, and on today's video, I want to share you one of the letters that I wrote to happiness, and it's called Dear Happiness. Before I dive into what came about for me as I wrote this letter and how it freed me, I actually shared this letter on Instagram a few years ago, and now I'm sharing it here on YouTube. But before we get into it, let's watch it together. I did a reading on it. Let's listen to it together, and then we'll talk on the other side. See you just now. Dear Happiness, you are here again. I woke up this morning scared to open my eyes, wondering if you'd still be here. I'm getting used to your presence. I used to be so awkward around you. Remember when I'd get a glass of wine to numb you? How silly was I? Every day I see you, I remind myself that you're here to stay. I've chosen you. I know I don't have to do anything to deserve you. Being me is an invite enough for you. I love who I am when I am around you. I smile more. My creativity goes through the roof. I can't help but dance. I embrace intimacy when you're around. I write this short letter to let you know how much I honor your consistency. Love, T. That was wonderful, wasn't it? So that was the letter called Dear Happiness. And as you can tell, we always think that what we struggle with, what we want to be comfortable with, is the feelings that are unpleasant. It's pain, it's grief, and all of that. But in actuality, what we really are scared of is our joy. Our happiness scares us so much because when we are truly happy, and I'm talking about happiness, I'm not talking about excitement, anticipation, memories. I'm talking about being in the moment and being happy in the moment. And that's what scares us the most, because one of the reasons it scares us the most is it's when we are truly ourselves, when we're in our joy. And it hasn't been a safe thing for many people to be truly themselves, to meet themselves and see who they truly are. Hasn't been really a safe thing. So we feel like, oh my goodness, what happens now if I discover who I am? If they discover who I am, what will happen? So we put ourselves in sadness, and because with sadness and grief, people can really just focus on what we are sad about. They can really focus on getting us better. But with happiness, they forget about everything and they focus on us, and we can't handle that. So that's the first thing that scares us when it comes to happiness, and that definitely scared me when it came to happiness. And the second thing that was scaring me had to do with the fact that I don't know how long it's going to last. that was one of the most difficult moments for me, was how long are you staying this time? And I say on the letter, thank you for your consistency, just to enforce the fact that happiness can be consistent. And it's looked upon as something impossible, that you hear people say, oh, you can't be happy all the time. Nobody's happy all the time. They're just um, well, pretending, or they're not being truthful because they're happy all the time. However, we do have people that are sad all the time. We have people that are mostly sad, mostly in grief, mostly in pain, mostly in any of those things. And yet, when it comes to happiness, we just go, oh no, you can't. How dare you are happy all the time? And I'm like, well, if you can have a person that's mostly angry, mostly sad, mostly upset, I think you can have a person that's mostly happy. That's possible. So that was one of the things that I was afraid of, was that it doesn't last, because that's what I had heard. That's what I believed. I believed it won't last, and then I'll go back to pain again. Whereas pain I'm comfortable with, sadness I'm comfortable with, I can stay there. So those were the two things that made me stay as far away from happiness as possible. And one of the things that I see with other people, and that I see in general, is when it comes to happiness, you are sort of forced to keep your promises, do what it is that you feel you came here for. Whereas if you are not in your happy place, you can have that as an excuse. Does that even make sense? You can have that as an excuse. I didn't write the book, I didn't write the novel because I was sad. I didn't go to exercise because I was in pain. I didn't fall in love because I was hurt. It is when we are happy that we can't use it as an excuse. We can't be like, well, I didn't do this because I was too happy. My happiness wouldn't allow me to do this. It sort of pushes us to go for our dreams, to fulfill our potential, as loud and as amazing as our potential is. And that is the thing that we worry about the most when it comes to happiness, is all these things that we now meant to become, because happiness has arrived. So this is the letter that I wanted to share with you, and I'm hoping to share more with you when it comes to my poetry and the stuff that I've written, just so I can have a chance to expand more on it, and express what it has done for me. And I hope you can express too what this has done to you, because writing literally saved me when it came to understanding why I was feeling the way I was feeling, where it was coming from, and how I could get in comfort with those feelings. And you'll see, I didn't write just about pleasant feelings. I also write about misery, I write about sadness, and I write about other things. And I'm hoping to share that with you here, because I think more than the how-tos right now, what could heal us, what could put us in a space of is really sharing our art with one another. So I would love to see your art too, and this is what I thought I would share with you today. Have a lovely day. Oh, before I go, I have a Discord community, a beautiful, wonderful, glorious Discord community that I want you to join. If you'd like to come through on the Discord, it's absolutely free. If you'd like to come through on the Discord community, please fill in the contact form, and I'll let you know how to do that. For now, have a wonderful, lovely day.